Okay. Let's see. Okay. Brian is saying, yes, we got sound now. Silly me. All right. Let's try that again. Folks. All right. Folks, if you're like me and you're watching an interview on TV, whether it's cable news or whatever, and there's a reporter interviewing a politician, and the politician dances away from answering a direct question, you, like me, are probably screaming your head off, asking, answer the question. Answer it. Make them answer the question. They're not answering the question. Uh, my guest today has no problem getting the person that he's speaking to answer the question. Why? Because he does not suffer fools lightly. He ain't got no time for that. My guest today has a 20-year career in radio, and if you have tender feelings, maybe he's not for you, but he gives it to you straight, raw, and uncut. And I am very excited to bring him to you today. So I hope you're ready to get into it because we're going to discuss the Ilhan Omar attack. We're going to discuss Kristi Noem. We're going to discuss Nick Shirley and Minneapolis and the whole nine yards. So if you're ready to get into it, I am. Let's go. Incredible person, incredible human being. Yes, famous. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Defiant Weekly. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad Defiant, and with us is my friend, Mr. Brian Shapiro. Brian, welcome.
Brooklyn Dad, it is an honor to be here. I love what you do. I'm jealous of your background. I need a better background. I just have this white, boring wall, and I see all this awesome stuff behind you, but you've been doing this for a while. I need to learn from you. I'm trying, but I like the studio you got going there.
Thank you. It's just my office, and it's been a work in progress. I'm still working on it. Right now, I'm working on my microphone. Behind me there, that neon sign was a gift from my wife. That's the old Brooklyn Dad Defiant neon there. So
I love
thank
it.
you. Thank you so much. And let's see who we have here briefly in the audience here. And thank you guys for giving me the heads up on the sound issue there. Okay, so right at the top from Twitter, we have Kevin Neal, who says, "You're so full of shit." But he showed up. He's at the top. Guys, don't let assholes be at the top of the chat board, for crying out loud. All right. But let's see. We got the Trump Reaper is here with us. Valerie G. Lucy, Meredith Powell. Let's see. Miguel is giving you a shout out, Brian. He says, "Yay, another Brian Shapiro event." So this is one of your fans.
Super
Bernadette H is here. Sharon Landry, Mama AG. Okay. And for the rest of you who I'm not shouting out, my apologies, because we have a limited time here. I'm really grateful that Brian joined us.
Of course.
For those of you who have already been here, you are familiar with what I explained, what we are doing on the show now. If you're familiar with The Price is Right, how they used to do things in The Price is Right is they would spin a wheel and people would get prizes, and you have to make sure you didn't go over $1, where there's no dollar amount here. Instead, we have a wheel and we have topics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, that is what we are going to discuss. So we have Ilhan Omar attacked, Trump versus Second Amendment, We have Kristi Noem impeach. Greg Bovino gone. Oh wait, I have forgot I have slides for that. So Ilhan Omar attacked. Trump versus Second Amendment. Kristi impeached. Greg bye Bovino. We have Minneapolis attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Government shutdown or what? We have, we have Brian Shapiro debating Nick Shirley. Then we have personal questions for Brian. And then Brian answers a live question. Now, Brian answers a live question is not the same as personal questions for Brian. They're two very different things. He is going to pick one of your comments there, and I see a Karkov. Welcome, my friend. He's going to pick one of the comments out of the chat, and he's going to directly answer you. Now, it depends on what his mood is, right? He might feel like if you're a Trump fan and you feel like showing your ass and you feel like you want to joust with him, I don't know if you really want the smoke from Brian, but he will give it to you. He will give it to you. He's not afraid to give it to you.
Not afraid.
So my friend, first I want to know, is 20 years, is that correct?
Yeah, man, I'm old. I started doing radio. I think I was like 21. So it's probably amazing. A little more. I'm 45 now. So yeah, I've been doing radio for a while, but I've only been doing political radio since Trump took office. So, I haven't been doing political talk radio for that long, but yeah, I've been on the air for a while now. I had hair when I started. So, I'm bald now. So, been doing it for a while. But yeah, I do a show Monday through Friday now, 12 to 2.
That is incredible, because I used to do this. I used to do this daily, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And you're on. Your show is Pushing the Limits.
Correct.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
And Brooklyn has done my show a few times too, and I'm very appreciative as well. So.
Oh yeah. Hang on. I have it here. Is it www.pushingthelimits.live? Is that correct?
Correct. That's the website. And of course, I'm on YouTube and Facebook. I just started the Facebook fan page a couple months ago. I don't have your subs, but I think I'm like around 70,000 or something on Facebook, and
nice,
probably like 160 on YouTube. But man, you have a massive following. I'm very jealous.
Don't be. It's, we're all in and out, and we have our things, and we say what we need to say, and we get the message out, and sometimes we overlap. That's right. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spin this wheel.
Okay.
Oh shit. We started right off on you answering a live question. I don't know if we have anything interesting yet. There's a lot of people. Oh, Ness from Connecticut, our friend is
I'm from Connecticut.
Yeah, we have a friend, Ness from Connecticut. It's her birthday today, so people are
nice.
Yeah, and we have a fan here. She's asking, what about wigs? Because last week, one of my categories was wear a wig, and I think I probably I landed on that 3 times. So. And I have like for some reason I have like 5 or 6. I have 5 or 6 wigs, and that's kind of crazy. Let's you know what? Do you mind if we come back to this, or
hey, get whatever you want, my friend. I'm good with whatever you want to do.
All right.
Watch it land on it again.
Here we go. we're gonna start off with Ilhan Omar Attack
Okay.
because that
Yeah.
is the main topic of
Yep.
today's show, and it literally just happened
Mhm.
yesterday. So,
Yep.
Brian, I have feelings about this. You have feelings about it.
Yep.
What's your take on that situation?
Well, first of all, when I first saw it, I thought it was despicable and disgusting. I'm glad Ilhan Omar is okay. I would also say that, again, more right wing conspiracy theories. How many people on social media, even Donald Trump, saying that this was staged with literally zero evidence to back that up? That's also disgusting. And I would go as far as to say we already know who this guy is. He's a Trump supporter. His name is out there. He's in jail right now. He donated to Donald Trump. There he is. He looks like a guy who starred in the show To Catch a Predator. If you've ever seen that show, this is Donald Trump's base right here. Middle-aged white guy who looks like that. I mean, listen, there's no evidence that it was staged. I'm glad Ilhan Omar's okay. By the way, I don't always agree with her, but this is horrible. I'm glad she's all right. And these right-wing conspiracy theorists, and we're not just talking about people on social media with 8 followers, huge people on the right that are lying, just like they did with the Paul Pelosi attack. And then when they're proven wrong, they don't retract and they don't apologize. And Donald Trump did it. So
Yeah.
it's so despicable. If you're a decent human being, Brooklyn, the first thing you would say is, this is horrible. We're glad she's okay. Political violence has no place. But it's just so sick. These people are so gross, and the conspiracy theories that just keep coming. It just drives me nuts. But I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Trump said earlier. He said, I think it was might have been last night, shortly after it happened. He said, "I think she's a fraud. She probably had herself
Yeah.
sprayed, knowing her." And there's so many reasons. There's so many things that are wrong with that statement. Um, the first thing that comes to mind for me is
The ear.
this.
I was just gonna say that his ear mysteriously grew back in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So how would he like it if Joe Biden had made a statement like that, or Barack Obama had made a statement like that? Knowing him, he probably got himself shot in the ear. Now, of course, they would never make it. They would never make a statement like that because they're
No.
decent human beings and they have empathy. But he's just such an awful, despicable human being. And that was his first reaction. And people, oh, he's lowering the temperature. He had a conversation with Tim Walz. Yeah, this is really lowering the temperature. You scumbags out there that are okay with this. I'm glad she's okay. That's scary. And it just, how could you have an initial reaction thinking that this was staged? I mean, you got to be a sick person to think like that.
Or or I could say, and you're a sick person,
Yeah.
and we know that most of the time when Donald Trump is leveling an accusation against someone, it's almost always a confession. And
Yeah.
there were plenty of people who were, and myself included. I'm not ashamed to admit that, that whole Butler, Pennsylvania thing looked weird to me. And I didn't spend a lot of time obsessing about it because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
what can I do? They've adopted an official explanation for what transpired. Fine. It is peculiar to me, however, that Trump's ear magically healed after just 1 week. Uh,
Mhm.
B, the thing that got me when I first heard about this, and I was rewatching the tape, I was like, how on earth are they allowing him to expose his head and his
Yeah.
torso 30
Yeah.
seconds after shots rang out? That doesn't make any
There
sense.
were,
Like, there's no
yeah, you're
way as
right.
your Secret Service that you can ascertain that the threat is completely nullified, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and a lot of bizarre circumstances. But this is what really gets me pissed off is that they all said the left tried to assassinate Donald Trump. So does that mean the right tried to kill Ilhan Omar? Now, I'm not an idiot. I don't take one person, but I could also go as far as to say the person who tried to assassinate Trump was a Republican. His family was a staunch Trump supporting family. The
Mhm.
second person who tried to assassinate Donald Trump voted for Donald Trump in 2016. But this guy was a Trump supporter who tried to do whatever he tried to do to Ilhan Omar. So should we just label that as the entire right? I mean, these people are so ridiculous and insane. And yeah, it is mysterious that his ear just grew back mysteriously 24 hours later. And then they were all wearing those stupid bandages on their ears for the Republican National Convention, looking like the Trump mushroom gobblers that they are. It's so stupid.
If you don't mind, I would like to briefly share what happened, how that whole thing unfolded, and
Yep.
there's the reason I want to share that, because there's what we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then there's what we saw last night with Ilhan Omar. And what the hell? Could have sworn. Hang on. I don't know how it disappeared, but here we go.
Abolishment of the agency. ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated.
You guys can see the attacker is just off to the right of where she is standing.
Must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will.
No. You need to go get checked. No,
we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, I don't know what. That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know
that's what they want.
No, it's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need to go get checked. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
We're gonna keep talking. Just give me 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes.
So, give me your impressions of what we saw there, Brian.
Well, obviously very scary, whether you're a politician or whether you're somebody like us, a public figure that covers politics. I've had death threats before. When you're a public figure, you always have to be aware of your surroundings. And this is a very scary situation. So I can't even imagine what was going through her head. But I do give her a lot of credit. She certainly did not back down, and she took a couple steps forward, and it almost looked like she was clenching her fists. So she's a tough cookie, and I'm glad she's okay. I don't think we know what that substance was, because as I was doing my show today, all I know is this guy's behind bars. He's a lunatic, but I don't think we ever truly figured out what that was. But the most important thing is that she's okay. I'm glad security got that guy. There's a lot of crazy people out there in society that are capable of doing some horrible things. And I'm glad she's all right. And everybody out there should be happy that she's okay, regardless of your political affiliation. And I just wish that Donald Trump could make a statement, what it would mean to the country. And he's not capable of this, to have a joint press conference, and for Donald Trump to go to Minneapolis and hold a joint press conference with Ilhan Omar and just talk about political violence and talk about lowering the temperature. What good that would do for the country. But he is not capable of doing that. And that's what's so sad about this.
Yeah. I was moved by how passionate she was. First of all, as soon as the attack happened, she cocked her fist back.
Yeah.
Like that was her very real reaction. Like she wanted, like there's that whole fight or flight thing. And some people, their first instinct is to run.
Yep.
And she's like, I want to beat a motherfucker down right about
now. Yeah.
And her staff, her helpers were saying, oh, this thing stinks. We got to get you checked out, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like insistent, like, no, because if I back down, if I get out of here, then the terrorists, that was you know, they spent the right wing Trump and MAGA spent a week calling Renee Good and then Alex Pretti calling them domestic terrorists. That was an actual domestic terrorist. They're talking about Alex Pretti. Oh, he was brandishing a gun. No, he wasn't brandishing a gun. Oh,
complete lie.
He approached ICE agents. No, he didn't approach them.
Yep. Everything that Kristi Noem has said has been lies. Everything that Stephen Miller has said has been lies. Donald Trump, everything from Renee Good and the officer was run over and he had internal bleeding and he almost died, that she's a terrorist, to this guy, Alex Pretti, who brandished a weapon, which he never did. He's not an assassin. And even Stephen Miller had to walk back his comments. And now Kristi Noem is blaming Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. Everything is crumbling down around them. Even people on the right. I had a guy who, one of the spokespersons for the NRA today, that was pissed off at Donald Trump. These NRA people and these conservatives that are in love with their weapons, they are pissed off at Trump because even he said, "Oh, he shouldn't have had a gun. Shouldn't have had a gun." By the way, he wasn't doing anything illegal. He was allowed to carry and never brandished it. I mean, listen, Brooklyn, I think you'll agree with me on this. These two people, Renee Good and Alex Pretti, are heroes. They're the real martyrs here. Because if and when all of these ICE agents get out of there, and it seems like half of them are already out, they saved lives and they did not die in vain. I wish they were still here, but they are heroes. And they, in the last moments of their lives, they were thinking about complete strangers. Alex Pretti was trying to help a woman who fell to the ground and put his arm around another woman. I would imagine he didn't even know who they were, but he was trying to help them in the last seconds of his life because that's who he was. He was a man of compassion and dignity. Renee Good hated seeing what was happening to her community and innocent people being kidnapped. She was a good woman. Alex was a good man, and we need to remember them, and we cannot forget. And I think I love what so many good people in Minneapolis are doing in these, remembering them, and they have a lot of courage, these people, because they're standing up to what, in my opinion, is a fascist regime. And you know, it's despicable, but yeah, it's just horrible. And then the Ilhan Omar stuff last night just caps it all off.
All right, so I don't know if you saw what I just did, but I literally just
you moved the wheel.
I just moved the wheel. I specifically moved it onto Minneapolis attacks because I think right about now that is kind of what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's not how the wheel is supposed to work, but that's damn it, it's my show. God damn it. So yeah, let us unfold the Minneapolis attacks, and specifically what I want to ask you is this, right? Minneapolis all of a sudden became the thrust. It's like it's more of a focal point for Donald Trump than any other Minnesota in particular, any other state in the country. He's got a vendetta against Minnesota. What is his problem with Minnesota?
Well, first of all, Democrats, right? Tim Walz, who ran as Kamala's vice president, has a problem with really any Democrats that speak out against him. So I would say that's number one. My question is, why are Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis? They're 1,500 miles from the border. That makes absolutely no sense either. Why is it that there are more undocumented immigrants in Texas and Florida, but we don't have anywhere near the amount of ICE agents there as they do in Minneapolis? It's all about Democrat. That's all, and voter rolls. I mean, we know what Pam Bondi asked of Tim Walz. This is really, it's not even about immigration. I mean, I do think a part of it is attacking brown people. I do think certainly a part of it is racism and bigotry and wanting America to be white again, which is, I think, what this administration really stands for. But it's also exposing how incompetent these people are, how cosplay puppy killer Kristi Noem has no idea what she's doing, and how Stephen Miller is clearly calling the shots. I think that's the only honest thing that Kristi Noem has said in the last month, which is, I'm just doing what Donald Trump and Stephen Miller are telling me to do. I actually think Kristi Noem is telling the truth. For once in her life, she's telling the truth, and now she's thrown them under the bus, and it's just sick. It's just, what type of country are we living in? It's just sick.
that comment out of Kristi Noem sounds suspiciously similar to "I was just following orders."
Right. Hmm.
The whole thing with Minnesota, I know for a fact Donald Trump has never won the state of Minnesota, and if you think that he is not petty enough to target Minnesota as a problem state because he lost there 3 times, then you don't know how petty Donald Trump can be.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he's still complaining about the 2020 election. He's
Hmm.
still complaining about this.
Yeah.
Mind
Yeah.
you, right? We were just talking about Butler, Pennsylvania a few minutes ago, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You notice he's not even complaining about this dude who shot at him, supposedly, allegedly. I
Yeah.
have to keep saying allegedly because that ear thing bugs me, man. I have kittens here. Actually, I have one kitten left. There were 5 kittens born in my
Mhm.
house like a month ago. And
Ah,
so the kittens, they have razor sharp claws. And when they scratch you, I mean, even when they're just climbing up or whatever, they're not intentionally, but when they get their nails into you, it takes a while for those things to heal. I have some kitten scratches that have lasted longer
yeah.
than his bullet wound on his ear.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. It could have been glass fragments. I don't know. Do I think that the assassination attempt was staged? And I'm not saying you said that. Do I think that? No, but I do think there are some very strange circumstances, like the American flag that was lowered seconds after shots were fired. Why would that happen? That's extremely weird. What we do know is that there were a couple people that were shot. Obviously, you had an innocent fireman, regardless of my idea of his politics, which I think were batshit crazy,
Mhm.
but he didn't deserve to die in front of his family like that. That's horrible.
No, yeah,
There was somebody else that was shot. And of course the shooter was executed, killed, and which is understandable. But there were some very strange circumstances. But I assume that everything is real until somebody shows me real evidence proving that it's not, like the Jussie Smollett thing, right? Obviously, he's just a douchebag that did something really stupid.
yeah,
But Ilhan Omar is a victim. I'll assume that Donald Trump is a victim. Not that I feel sorry for him in any way, shape, or form, but that's what these right wingers do, Brooklyn Dad. This is what they do.
yeah.
They attack the most vulnerable of people, and they're going to continue to smear Alex and smear Renee. And we can't allow that to happen. We got to set the record straight of what happened in Minnesota. We all saw the video. Come on,
Yeah, yeah.
we all saw it.
I personally love what the people of Minneapolis have shown us. They've showed us a very resilient spirit. I mean, they are a city that is under siege. Like I forget what do you remember the name of the operation? It's Operation Metro something. He
Yeah, I don't
like that,
remember the name. Yeah,
but he's flooded thousands of ICE agents there. And I think
yeah.
you mentioned a few minutes ago that why are you sending so many ICE agents to Minneapolis and Minnesota when Texas and Florida have millions more undocumented immigrants? It makes no sense. Here,
Mhm.
Meredith Powell here is
Yep.
saying it's all a shitty reality show, chaos, stupidity, fighting, backstabbing, fake tough guy shit, etc. All we need is drunken fights on the White House lawn to complete the whole show.
Yeah, and even worse, these were Border Patrol agents that executed and I believe murdered this man. And again, the border's 1,500 miles from Minneapolis. The hell are they doing there?
Yeah.
It's just insane. Listen, we all saw the video. And by the way, the Trump administration now just did the minimum in putting these officers on paid leave. They've only done the minimum that you're supposed to do because of public outcry, because there are actually now some Republicans that are finally speaking out on this. There's nobody that can watch that video and say to themselves, oh, that was justified. I mean, I did a hit on OAN the other day, and the host was making the case, well, I don't really know what happened. Let there be an investigation. How could you not know what happened by watching all those angles in that video?
Yeah.
We saw what happened. This man was murdered. Okay. This man wasn't breaking any laws. This man wasn't interfering in an investigation. He did what any decent human being would want to do in that situation. He was trying to help a woman off the ground. And then he was pepper sprayed. And then he was beaten on the ground. And then they took his weapon from him, a weapon that he'd never brandished. And then they murdered him. Okay, they shot him multiple times. They murdered this man. We all saw what happened. We all saw what happened to Renee Good. She wasn't trying to use a vehicle as a weapon. She was trying to get away. Okay, and these officers, they don't know how to de-escalate things either. They're goons, you know, in masks. That's what they are. And I understand why everyone was angry. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. What is it going to take? We've lost 2 innocent people for no reason. What is it going to take for Republicans finally to show a backbone and say enough is enough already? I mean, every day it's something new with this administration, and I've had.
You know, the other day I literally saw a series of clips from Fox News showing different Fox News commentators kind of backing off of their rhetoric on the killing, the murder of Alex Pretti. And it's not a major shift, but it is a shift nonetheless. Like their stance 9 times out of 10 is always, you know, listen to dear leader, support dear leader's positions no matter what. And now it's kind of like, well, you know, this Minneapolis thing. I even saw Sean Hannity of all people saying that the Home Depot ICE raids are crossing a line. This was Sean Hannity saying that. So, I mean, it can't just be in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're saying that these are going overboard, then you've got to extrapolate. You've got to do that all across the nation. Anywhere else where ICE is operating, they've got to stop doing this. But right now, Minneapolis, whew, I got to hand it to them. They have not. It felt like ICE was deliberately trying to instigate, antagonize, and provoke a visceral, violent reaction from the Minneapolis residents, and they didn't get it. That's stunning.
They're taking away your Fourth Amendment rights. They're going up to random people demanding. I shouldn't say random people. They're going after brown people. They're going after people that have accents. So I shouldn't say they're going after random people. That's incorrect. Demanding their ID, demanding their paperwork. Are we living in Nazi Germany? They're barging down doors without warrants. Oh, we think there's an illegal in that house. No, that's not how it works. You're not allowed to go into that house unless you have a warrant. They are breaking the law. That's it, quite simply. Now, I'm not defending people attacking ICE, physically assaulting ICE. I'm not defending any of that at all, but the overwhelming majority of protesters in Minneapolis are peaceful. Just like the overwhelming majority of protesters during Black Lives Matter protests were also peaceful. But they want to paint the picture that they're all bad people. They're all people that are showing up with guns and wanting to massacre people. No, that's not what's going on there. In fact, it's the other way around. The people that are doing the assaulting, for the most part, are these ICE agents, these goons wearing masks, these cowards. That's what's going on in Minneapolis right now.
Indeed. Do you mind if we give this wheel a spin?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. I got to implement this on my show, by the way. I might have to copycat.
Go right ahead. Okay. There we go. So we're on Kristi Noem impeach. So the word is that Kristi Noem is on she's persona non grata, and people are saying that she might be the next person on the outs with the administration. Tell me your thoughts on cosplay Kristi Noem, and do you think impeaching her is a good start? Is it enough? What do you think?
Well, we have had a few Republicans that have already called for her resignation, so that's a good thing. That's number one. Hopefully we'll get more. Number two, she is a despicable liar. As you mentioned, cosplay Kristi. She's an embarrassment to the country, a puppy killer, a deranged individual who lied in her book about meeting Kim Jong-un when caught. She's extremely dishonest. She has no moral compass. And the fact that I don't care who told her to say this allegedly, the fact that an hour after Renee Good's murder, that she would call her a domestic terrorist, says everything you need to know about Kristi Noem. First of all, she's completely unqualified. You know, it's funny how these Republicans want to talk about DEI hires. Well, how about Kristi Noem? She's I don't know, would you call her a white DEI hire? I don't even know what she is. But I mean, what qualifications does she have to be in the position that she's in? I mean, you can go down the list with almost everybody in the Trump administration and say that. But yeah, I think an impeachment is certainly a good start. She's despicable, and you know, her comments after these shootings are just doubling down on them, are just absolutely awful. And now, being the coward that she is, she wants to hide behind Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. Oh, well, they told me to do that. They told me I was just following orders. Well, guess what? As Kelly said it best, don't about, and he was referring to the military, of course, but you know, if somebody tells you to do something that's illegal, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Or in this case, if somebody tells you to say something that's not true, don't say it. In this aspect, it applies here as well. So her excuses have no merit to them. And I think she'll always go down as someone who lied for Donald Trump, another cuck, for lack of a better term, for Donald Trump. And now it's biting her in the butt. That's what's happening here.
Brian, I think your characterization of her as a DEI person, and I put DEI in air quotes because
Yeah.
you know, like the right wing has weaponized and vilified DEI. They turned it into something that it is not. But in the spirit of how they have weaponized DEI, I agree with you 1,000%. And you also said, this microphone is going to kill me. You also correctly said that that the rest of the Trump administration is DEI. You can go all the way down the list, starting with Pete Hegseth, not qualified. Kash Patel, not qualified. Linda McMahon, not qualified. So many people, but out of all of them, I think Kristi Noem is probably the most embarrassingly bad and vapid and just clueless person. Like, and she's turned it into an art, you know, like with
she has
with the costumes, and it's embarrassing, like, for her to get up there in a press conference and just read off something that they gave her to say, and you can see that there's no understanding behind her eyes. She has no way of answering those questions beyond what's on that printed sheet of paper. So
and this is not brain surgery. After the Renee Good shooting, all she had to say initially was, hey, this is a tragedy. We're going to investigate this fully to find out exactly what happened. We want to lower the temperature. And just, you know, even though I wouldn't have believed her if she had said that, there are ways of speaking. After this Alex Pretti shooting, again, she could have made some generic statements and said, hey, we're going to fully investigate this. We saw the initial video. It was tough to watch. And, you know, we're going to put these officers on administrative leave, and we're going to find out what exactly happened. But again, an hour after the shooting, hours after, domestic terrorists. These are terrorists. I think she used the term. She said that he brandished a weapon, which is also a lie. There's no evidence that happened. In fact, it didn't happen. It was a complete lie. So not only is she lying, but she's not lowering the temperature. She's making things even worse. I mean, it just couldn't be worse at her job.
And it didn't even seem as though she had watched the video, because as she's saying that, you know, that Alex Pretti attacked, where? Like, we've all seen by this point, we've all seen at least 3 different angles of the event.
Yeah, it's not true. The only thing that I saw, and by the way, he didn't do anything wrong, was he put his hand on the officer's shoulder for maybe a half a second when he was almost balancing, trying to take that woman off the ground. There was like a split second.
You mean when he had pepper spray in his eyes?
Yeah, right, exactly. He had pepper spray. And by the way, you're also trained not to pepper spray somebody at close range either. And I would imagine he was in a lot of pain. But even when this man was in a lot of pain, he was thinking about other people. That goes to show you the type of human being he is. And then they say, well, he got into a scuffle a week before. Well, yeah, he broke his rib and he wasn't arrested. He didn't break the law then either. He didn't do anything wrong. But this man still had the fortitude and the heroism to show up a week later and to help people that he was concerned about and to document legally using your cell phone. And Bovino and Noem, they have the gall to say he's not the victim. These officers are the victims when they shot him dead. I mean, I'm just so sick of these people. They're just despicable people. And anybody on the right, and I'm just going to say this point blank, anybody on the right that is defending these two shootings, you are a despicable human being and you have no empathy and you are a shill to Donald Trump and his fascist regime. I really don't know what to say about these people anymore. I'm at a loss.
I just want to say, I might have said this before, but the reason why I enjoy so much of what it is that you do and how you do it, it's because I can I almost live vicariously through you. It's not like it's not like I can't, right? I'm sure I can, but you are really fucking good at it. Like,
oh, that's nice of you.
I
appreciate that.
Like, so I try to have patience, right? I try. And even with my Twitter replies, like I end up writing way more, like 4 paragraphs of a reply sometimes. I'm like, and I ask myself in paragraph 2, why are you even doing this? And in the back of my mind, I'm hoping that somebody else but after that jackass sees what I'm writing. But at some point, there are people who are so obstinate, right? And I've seen you flame these guys out. And I actually do want to share. I want to see if I can share with the audience. And that last video that I tried to show, nobody saw it. So I'm having some technical difficulties here. So I'm going to see if I can put this on the screen and I'm going to check the comments. And there
you go. Yeah, you're good.
So you can see it.
Yes, you're good now. Yep.
Okay, so before I couldn't. Here we go. Here's one of your guys. If you're not already watching Brian Shapiro's show, you're missing out. You're missing out. It's so much fun. He has access to all these clowns. He has access. They despite the fact that he's not being nice to them at all, they still come for it.
They do. They do. They like punishment. They do.
So here, check this out.
When he's on the ground and he's fighting for his life and he's unarmed, how could you possibly make the dumb? What do you mean?
Comply.
All he had to do was comply. So when you're on the ground and you're being kicked and punched, don't you think you're going to try to put your arms and your hands over your face?
Well,
to try
if
to
I was put on the ground, I certainly wouldn't be fighting against 5 armed.
He wasn't fighting, and nothing in the video.
I mean,
nothing in the video. How stupid are you? He wasn't fighting anybody. They approached him.
He was fighting.
Okay, then you're an idiot, sir. I don't know what else to tell you. That
well,
you would
were
defend
the
this.
cops fighting themselves?
You are defending murder. You are an imbecile that defends murder. I watched all the videos. You're an imbecile that's defending murder. That's what you are.
Imbecile, idiot.
You're an imbecile that defends murder. Yeah, I do think you're a racist too, because you've called into the show before. Yeah, I do. You voted for Donald Trump, didn't you? You voted. You voted for Donald Trump, didn't you, sir? You voted for Donald Trump, didn't you? You voted for him, didn't you? You're a Trump supporter. You're a mushroom gobbler, aren't you, sir? And you've said multiple things in this conversation that are not true. Right from the get-go, you started talking about how he went to other protests, which is completely irrelevant to this conversation. Oh, yeah, by the way, so what? He's never been arrested or convicted of a crime in his life. That's why I said it was irrelevant. You're not smart enough to understand that. Then you're ill-informed and you said it's illegal to bring a legal weapon to a protest. You don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong about that. Then you said he went up to the officers. No video shows him going up to the officers. The officers went up to him. You're 0 for 3. You're wrong about that. Then you said he assaulted officers. No, sir. He was pepper sprayed when he had one hand in the air and then the other hand was recording it with his cell phone. Then he is pushed to the ground, he is kicking, he is kicked, and he is punched while he is on the ground, while every officer is on their feet. How could he assault these officers when he is on the ground, you dumbass? He is on the ground, and they are kicking and punching him, but you say he was assaulting them, and then you say suicide by cop. You don't even know what that word means. In order for it to be suicide by cop, you would have to have him pointing a weapon at the officers or saying something like, go ahead and kill me and shoot me. None of that took place. You're ill-informed and you're an imbecile. That's what
You get the idea. Yeah, I get those calls every day. Every day I get calls like that. It's insane. It's crazy.
I love it so much. I love it so much. It's
thank you.
and like when you call them an imbecile or an idiot, I'm like, oh, inject that right into my veins. So good.
I was being nice to that guy too. I usually take it much further than that, but I wasn't taking it too far with that guy. Yeah, that guy's an idiot. Unfortunately, there are people that don't have eyes. Maybe they're blind, or maybe they're blinded to loyalty to Donald Trump.
Brian, the past part of the horror of the past 3 weeks has been that we're all looking at the same videos, and by all looking at the same videos, I mean the Renee Good and the Alex Pretti, and we're even parsing over details of the little guy Liam Ramos, right? And we're all we all know right from wrong, right? We all know that it is wrong to use a child as bait, right? If you're trying to trap these people, these asylum seekers, by using their child, and then trying to characterize it as, oh, the father abandoned this child. No, that is not what happened at all. That is not at all what happened. And just the same thing as you were trying to explain to that imbecile. You were saying, look, the guy's he's on the floor. How is he fighting? How is he attacking ICE? He's not. He walked over in the video. One hand was up like this. The other hand was on his phone. Where's the third hand for the gun? And which, by the way, let's go ahead, because I gotta talk about the Trump versus the Second Amendment thing. Because when I heard this, I was like, MAGA's just gonna twist themselves into knots to try to justify and say, oh, he didn't mean what he said, or he meant something else, or he's playing 5D chess, or any of the myriad excuses they give when he says the absolute batshit stupidest things you've ever heard. When the past week they've been talking about, oh, he brought a gun to a protest, but A, he was licensed, B, he was not brandishing it, and C, they're like, oh, but he brought ammo with him. So guys, fun fact, a gun without ammunition is a paperweight, you fucking morons. God damn.
So stupid. And yeah, there's a lot of people from the NRA, a lot of gun advocates, Second Amendment people that are very upset at what Donald Trump said. And it's interesting, right? Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero if he brings a gun to a Black Lives Matter protest. And we all know how that ended. But somehow this guy shows up legally with a weapon, and Donald Trump and some people in his administration are going after him for doing that. Listen, we all saw the video. We all saw all angles. We saw all the cell phone footage and everything. There is nothing that shows that he brandished the weapon. There's nothing that shows that he broke the law. There's nothing that shows that he was the aggressor or did anything assaulting officers. Everything in there is clear as day. He was there. He was protesting. He was trying to record on his cell phone, and he was murdered. That's what happened. By the way, I'm not going to go with the narrative either that, oh, well, the officer who took his gun away, the gun discharged, and that's what scared the officers. So fucking what? Even if it did scare the officers, you don't shoot the guy. You don't shoot the guy. I'm just so sick of the excuses by these people on the right. Excuse after excuse after excuse.
Training, Anyone? Decent
Yeah.
training
47
period.
days. Yeah.
That's nowhere near enough to do the kind of interactions, the high quantity of interactions these guys are exposed to on a daily basis. It's an unreasonable expectation to think that after a measly 47 days, that they are equipped to handle dealing with the stress of having a weapon and, all of this stuff. 47 days? Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, where did they come up with 47 days? This egomaniac, douchebag, it's insane. 47 days. Think about that for a moment. You need more training to be a manager at McDonald's.
Oh,
You need
shit.
more training to be a crossing guard. You
Yeah.
need more training sometimes to be put in minimum wage jobs. But yet 47 days will give you that $50,000 bonus. And we'll give you all this power. And then we wonder why some of these ill-informed and uneducated MAGA thugs, who are cowards, by the way, let me be very clear. I don't say that lightly. I think most of our police officers in this country are heroes. I think most of the police officers in this country deserve to be commended. Many of them are friends of mine. I don't have any friends that are ICE agents, I'll tell you that. And I certainly wouldn't have any friends that think 47 days is comparable to have all this power that you have and do what they are doing in Minneapolis. It's sickening to me.
I also don't like the fact that these guys, they try to elevate themselves to the same level as actual law enforcement, like to the same level, like they have the same status as police. They don't. They can't. They're not even authorized to do those traffic stops. Did you know that?
They're not, but yet they think they are. They don't even know the law themselves. But a lot of people are unaware of that. I'm just very proud of the people in Minneapolis. I really am. I'm really proud of them. I just wanted to say that. I think it's really important to say that.
So let me very briefly, I want to put up on the screen that clip of Donald Trump, that insane, what the hell did he just say? Quote. Here he is.
I'm going to grab a drink. I'm going to grab a drink real quick, if that's okay, while you do that. Okay.
Do your thing, buddy.
Yep.
So in case you guys were unable to hear that over the sound of the helicopter or jet engine or whatever, because that's the silly trick that he likes to that he likes to do, so that you can't properly hear what the hell he's saying, so he can have some kind of plausible deniability. What he was saying is, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. It's a very unfortunate thing. Now, for years, we have been jousting. When I say we, I mean you, I, Brian, all of us have been jousting with members of MAGA, the right wing, about the different stipulations of when and where you can carry a gun. So after every mass school shooting or mass church shooting or mass grocery store shooting, Wilbur McCarthy, thank you, my friend. Thank you for the kind donation. After all those shootings, we typically get into debates about, the guns are not the problem. The people are the problem. And,
I hate that.
And we need to have guns in case of a tyrannical government, to which I would always kind of laugh and say, so what are you going to do when they roll in with the tanks, or when they've got the drones dropping missile strikes on your house, and, is your gun going to stop that? But I get it, well-regulated militia and all that. But where are those guys now, Brian?
That's a really good question that needs to be answered. And it's incredible because you have so many of these people, like you said, that make love to their guns every night, right? And they're obsessed. And by the and, you know, it's so interesting to me that, so many of these people that are, pro Second Amendment. And by the way, I'm pro Second Amendment. While I do believe there's way too way too much gun violence in this country, and the Republicans on the right are despicable, in my opinion, when it comes to doing anything to getting bipartisan gun legislation on the books. By the way, Joe Biden did more when it came to that than any other president did in decades, so we have to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
But listen, I'll be honest with you. When Barack Obama was president and we saw what took place in Connecticut with all these innocent children that lost their lives, and Obama tried to do everything he could to try to pass some gun legislation. And when you had Republicans that weren't willing to do anything then, they're certainly not going to be willing to do anything now. But again, that's another topic. But you make a really good point. All these pro Second Amendment people, where are they now when Donald Trump says, "Oh, no, the guns are bad. Guns bad. Don't bring a gun in there. It's bad."
You try to take our goods.
Yes.
You take our gun. You don't take my gun.
Yeah.
Who knew that it was going to be Trump that they had to worry about?
Yeah. Who would have thought, right? America first, right? What an America first agenda. Let's bail out other countries. Let's say we don't have enough talented people in this country and bring up 600,000 Chinese people here. Let's kidnap presidents in other countries and steal their oil. Let's show how tough we are by trying to take over Greenland. I mean, yeah, this is really an America first agenda. Of course, let's roll out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin on American soil. It's just, the list goes on and on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
dude. It's only been 1 year. It's been 1 year, and it feels like much longer.
Imagine where we're going to be in a year from now.
And actually, let's just take a step back. Today is January 28th, right? So 2026 is 28 days old, and we've already invaded. We've invaded Venezuela and deposed their ruler or whatever. Whether he's a dictator or not, like they left all the other shitty people in place. So what are you doing anyway? They've threatened Greenland. They've alienated many of our partners, our trading partners. They've sent Canada into the arms of China, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've made me pay attention to those international global things that I swear to God, I want to ignore them. Whatever. And they've turned Minneapolis into a war zone in just 28 days. This is madness.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. And I got to be honest, I never liked it when people use the term Nazi or Hitler, even though J.D. Vance used that term, but about Donald Trump. But I never liked using those references or analogies. But I'm at the point now where I'm totally okay with it. And the reason why now, do I think Donald Trump wants to kill 7 million Jews? No. But I do make references to, asking people for their paperwork. I mean, in Nazi Germany back in the day, they did that to people. I do feel like this is an evil regime and a fascist regime, and it's their way or the highway. And if you praise Donald Trump and if you coddle his ego, he'll do what you want him to do. But if you are not a Donald Trump supporter, he will use the justice system against you. He will threaten you. And he will do anything and everything he can to punish you. It's really sick. So yeah, these Nazi Hitler references or analogies, I have no problem with them now. I really don't. And a year ago, I would have said I do, but I don't anymore.
Brian, I a little while ago I had written a Substack about how we have been admonished to try to stay away from Hitler references. But I think you said this earlier, like in the show, Hitler didn't start off putting people in the gas ovens. That wasn't like That wasn't his first step. You know, he was like a charismatic demagogue or whatever. He was a guy on a soapbox and he was talking to the people, and eventually he built up a following, and that following was big enough and strong enough to kind of overpower everybody else. And we do need to get more comfortable, I believe, with using the word fascist and fascism, because that is what is happening right now. And mind you, when we first started hitting them upside the head with the word fascist, there was all this, oh, you know, you have to turn down the rhetoric, turn the volume down, because that, you can't say that. That was almost as bad as telling a white person that they're racist, you know? Like, calling a white person a racist gets kind of this almost the same reaction as saying the N-word, right? It's almost like, oh, how dare you? But now fascist has almost kind of raised to that level too. Why? Because it's calling it what it is. Fascist is demanding papers. Fascist is turning our country into a police state where people suddenly, dude, I now carry my passport with me. How crazy is that? I am not a Spanish speaking person. I don't have an accent, but I am brown. You understand? So somebody can look at me, because that is what they're using right now. They are trampling over the First, the Fourth, the 14th Amendment. I can't think of what other amendments they're trampling, but they're trampling a whole shitload of them. And there's nobody stopping. There's nobody stopping them. I know there's a fascism checklist somewhere, and I think they've probably checked off like 5 of those things. You know, it's scary.
It really is, and it pains me to say that. You know, it saddens me to say that. You know, I'm not one of these people that, you know, will throw out that word fascist, but let's remember it was Donald Trump on the campaign trail that called Kamala Harris a fascist multiple times on the campaign trail, but yet MAGA Republicans seem to forget about that. But we actually have some reason to call Donald Trump a fascist. What has Kamala Harris ever done in her life that would lead anybody to call her that? Or I just don't seem to understand. But you look at what's going on in Minneapolis. You look at the, you know, defying judges or even the Supreme Court on some rulings, using our own military to or threatening to try to take over Greenland. We also look at what took place in Venezuela. The precedent that is set forward now is, as long as there's an indictment, what would you say if somebody invaded our country and tried to take out our president? Ooh. That's the precedent, though, that the Trump administration has done. It's okay to kidnap somebody in another country and take over their oil. That's not ours.
Brian, you know what's crazy? Earlier today, I saw ASIN had posted a video of Rand Paul. Rand Paul has become the voice of reason, and he was grilling Marco Rubio about the exact same thing, the exact same thing that you're talking about right now. He put it in the way, like, what if somebody entered our airspace and bombed our cities and then took our president? And then Rubio was like, oh, well, it only took 4 hours and nobody was hurt. And so Rand Paul was like, okay, let's say that it only took 4 hours and nobody got hurt and they took our president. Is that an act of war? And Rubio is trying to dance around it. And Paul is like, it's an act of war, stupid. He didn't say stupid, but he could have used one of your imbecile or.
By the way, Rubio lied under oath. My understanding is there were over 100 people that lost their lives in Venezuela.
Yes,
so
that's right.
So when Marco Rubio says that nobody was hurt, what the fuck are you talking about? There were over 100 people that lost their lives. That's like saying that, you know, there's nobody in Iran that peacefully protested that was killed. I mean, it's like these people and their blatant lies. It under oath too. Marco Rubio knows that people were killed. People lost their lives. Some innocent people lost their lives because of this military operation. And it just, listen, they'll lie under oath. They'll lie constantly. And even somebody like Marco Rubio, who was one of the few in Donald Trump's administration that I would say is qualified. He is qualified to be in that position. But we all know that Marco Rubio has aspirations of being J.D. Vance's vice presidential running mate. And that's why he's going to be continuing to lie with no backbone. And it's just sick and it's sad where these people are today. I did see that. And I saw that exchange with Rand Paul, and it was very troubling.
How sad is that he's aspiring to be J.D. Vance's vice president?
I really believe it, though. I really believe it.
No, I believe it too. But how sad is that, bro? Like at one point, he was, jousting with Trump to be the number one guy. Nobody wants to be vice president. That's the shittiest job of all. I
agree.
You get no credit for anything. You have no power to do anything except for breaking a tie.
Yeah.
The other thing,
these people. Yeah, go ahead.
You said he committed perjury because of that.
He did.
That's not the only thing he committed perjury on. Remember when Donald Trump said on Air Force One that he had briefed oil executives before Congress? And then Marco Rubio denied that. So it's either Trump is lying or Rubio's lying. Both can't be true, or can they? I don't know.
No, they can't. That's a really good point, Brooklyn Dad. And remember, it was J.D. Vance that said that Donald Trump could be the next American Adolf Hitler. Remember, it was Marco Rubio that said, if not for, I'm trying to remember the exact quote, but if Donald Trump didn't get $500 million from a dad, he'd probably be selling fake gold watches in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. I mean, and now they work for this guy. So it says everything you need to know about who they are. I mean, I could throw Ted Cruz in there as well. Sniveling coward, liar, never going to take over the Republican Party. We'll never let this guy do that. This liar do that. And now they all work for him because they have no dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no backbone, and they're willing to do and say whatever it takes if it helps their political life to do so. It's almost everybody in the Republican Party today. Not everybody, but almost everybody.
Yeah. And here's a disappointing thing about the Republican Party. It's Rand Paul and Tom Tillis, but Tom Tillis is on his way out, right? And you can only get a Republican who is on their way out to say something negative about Donald Trump or about his regime, and that's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It's really sad. They have no backbone. I mean, I don't care what Murkowski says. I don't care what any of these MAGA Republicans say. I don't care what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. I know she's out the door, but at the same time, they only do this and they only speak up when they know that they're either not going to run for re-election or they can't win. That's the only, or they're retiring. It's the only time that, and now there are a few that didn't do that. I do have respect for Mitt Romney, who I do have respect for Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger. There are some that I say, okay, even though I disagree with you on the way you voted, like Liz Cheney, 99% of the time, at least when push came to shove, you put your country over your own political, job in office. And I do have respect for it.
What do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because you deal with a lot of MAGA on a daily basis. I wonder, what do you think about her pivot or apparent pivot?
Yeah. I know her fiance very well, Brian Glenn, and I've had conversations with him about this. And, when it comes to Marjorie, I'll say this. She was defending the January 6ers. She spewed conspiracy theories, the Jewish space lasers. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene is a despicable human being who made a lot of money when she was in office. Am I glad that she spoke up at the end? Sure. I'm glad that at least when it came to the Epstein stuff, she was on the right side of history there, but I have zero respect for her. And the reason why is because she stood by Donald Trump for all this time. And when she realized that Donald Trump was not going to support her reelection campaign, and she knew she had no chance to win, then that was the only time she spoke up. I believe Marjorie is a despicable human being. She was a shill for Donald Trump, and she, just like Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert, a squirrel can find a nut now and then, but these are bad people. They're bad people. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Nancy Mace, the disgrace, Lauren Boebert, the Beetlejuice. I mean, okay, I'm glad they were on the side, on the right side of history when it comes to the Epstein files. Okay, fine. But
Yeah.
just because you get 1 out of 100 right doesn't mean that I have any respect for you. I have
Oh,
zero respect for. I'll always remember Marjorie Taylor Greene as chasing after David Hogg in the streets in D.C. I'll always
mm,
remember her defending the January 6th insurrectionists, some of whom beat cops with their own batons. So no,
yeah.
I'm not going to give Marjorie Taylor Greene any credit at all. Yeah, am I glad she was right on the Epstein stuff? Yeah, okay, sure. Am I glad she was right on the Medicare stuff? But where the fuck have you been for 9 years? You
Yeah.
supported this guy who had no replacement plan for Obamacare. None, zero, no replacement plan. But now all of a sudden you say to yourself, oh, well, wait a second, he's got this wrong. Well, where the hell were you when you actually were a lawmaker? So listen, I don't care what she says now. And I would tell that to her face if I saw her.
I know you would, man. I love watching you. Oh, but so hang on, because
Yep.
this wheel
Yep.
is so funky sometimes. Where is it? I want to get to this here. I love this, right? So, folks, I don't know. First, well, let me ask you, right? How did you bump into Nick Shirley in the street? How did that happen?
Yeah. So I was one of the only people on the left or left leaning that got credentialed to AmFest. AmFest was about a week before this Nick Shirley stuff.
Is that America First? America
Yeah,
First?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's this Jack Posobiec. It's the Turning Point USA stuff.
Okay.
And I was part of the Unfuck America tour. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but me,
No.
Destiny, and some others, we travel and we go to these campuses and stuff, and we went to AmFest. So anyway,
Ah.
long story short, I didn't really know who Nick Shirley was because this was a week before all those viral videos went out with the daycare centers. But I did recognize him. So he comes up to me, and I'm at a table debating, MAGA mushroom gobblers, as I call them,
Yep.
and I'm debating these people, and all of a sudden Shirley comes up to me, and he starts mumbling and bumbling to me, and he sounded like an extremely stupid human being, like very dumb, like he couldn't even put two sentences together. And then I see his. At the time, I didn't know this was his mother. Okay,
Oh,
but
shit.
his mother comes over and she tries to save him, right? And she was just as stupid as he is. And I think we were debating the Epstein files, and I think his defense of Donald Trump was, well, listen, if you had the opportunity to go to Epstein Island, wouldn't you go too? What? And I said, no, I wouldn't if I knew he was a pedophile. No, actually, Nick, I wouldn't. And then his
Yeah.
mother gets in there and says, well, what about Bill Clinton? And I said, what about Bill Clinton? Here's the difference between me and you. If Bill Clinton did some very bad things, then so be it. Release the Epstein files. And she was so stupid. She gave me this look in her eye like a deer in headlights. And I came away from that saying, wow, that guy, Nick, that guy is really stupid, really dumb. He's not a very bright person. And then
No.
when I saw the videos he posted, this is a guy who did satire videos in Ukraine. He doesn't
I
care
saw
about,
that. It's
yeah,
bullshit.
he doesn't care about fraud or any of that stuff.
Let me just tell you, when you bring up that Ukraine thing,
Yep.
somebody flamed him, like they got him on their show and they confronted him about it, and they were like, look,
Yep.
you went to Ukraine, but you went to an area that wasn't touched by fighting at all, and you characterized it as though all of the billions of dollars that have gone over there were for nothing, and that is disingenuous, and that was not in good faith, and blah blah blah. And he had nothing to say in his own defense. He was like, yeah, well, satire. I mean, sometimes I just
That's what he sounds like, by the way. That's a really good impersonation. That's exactly what he sounds like. He sounds like a mumbling fool, some stupid 23-year-old Mormon virgin kid who, and by the way, I have no problem with religion. And if people want to be a virgin, that's fine. All I can say is I can understand why no women want to go anywhere near this kid. He's just a complete Nimrod. And then he goes to Minneapolis, knocking on a bunch of businesses that are closed with this idiot named Dave, who's a Republican operative, and he grifts. That's all he is a grifter, just like the Nick Sortors of the world, who stand in front of Tim Waltz's home, and we know Tim Waltz has a special needs son. God bless him.
Yeah.
And and Nick goes in front of his home and yells "retard." I mean,
that
it's
was
like,
Nick who did that?
yeah, it was Nick Sorter who did that.
Ah,
Yes,
what a
and
fucking asshole.
they call themselves journalists. Let me tell you something. If Nick Shirley is a journalist, then I guess I'm a MAGA supporter, because that's how much of a journalist Nick Shirley is. I mean,
Yeah.
These people are not serious people. They're not journalists. They're just out to make money off of clicks, you know. And listen, I make money off of YouTube. I'll be the first person to admit that. But I don't put out content and lie and hurt people in doing so. The worst thing I'll do is call somebody a right-wing buffoon or something, right? But I try to tell the truth. I share my opinions. These people are hurting people for a living. That's what they do. The Matt Walshes of the world and others, they're just bad people. Is that the video? I think you found it.
This is what I've had this queued up for. This is not the whole thing. I just want to give the audience a taste of what you
Okay.
what you indulged in over there, and then send them over to your page, your YouTube page, so that they can see the rest of it. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I always come up with it. You guys have been doing it for years.
We don't support pedophiles or anything like that by any means.
Then why is Donald Trump treating a pedophile like a VIP then?
Maybe you might need some information.
Oh, give me a break.
Who else would you
That's
get information
garbage.
from? Who else would you get information from?
Is that why they're doing it? That's why they
Who else
sent.
would you get information
So a 20-year sexual abuser. Yeah, exactly. I know.
Keep going. Keep going. What do you want to say?
A 20-year
I gave you my reason why that'd be.
A 20-year it's unprecedented for anybody to be treating a pedophile like that. What's the matter? You know what I mean on camera?
No, I said you don't not even have it on this.
I don't?
Yeah, you're missing it.
Oh, okay. I was just recording.
Do you have anything to say before we move on?
Regarding the things you said about Trump made promises to end the war in 24 hours.
Did he do that?
You have to realize that being a president means you're constantly negotiating. So that's a political.
How are those negotiations gone with Vladimir Putin? Give me one sanction.
Saying that you're going to end the war in 24
He said
hours
that. I didn't say it. Okay, but he said that.
You're trying to
He lied.
so that the other side actually ends.
Did he end the war in 24 hours? Yes or no?
No, he didn't.
So did he lie?
No.
He didn't lie.
He's having a political negotiation.
Okay, and how's that negotiation going? Give me one sanction there.
We've had a lot more talk with Russia.
I didn't ask you about the talks. It doesn't matter if it doesn't produce results. What results has Donald Trump done, and what has Russia given up? Give me one thing that they've given up.
Maybe I can't right now.
You can't, because he hasn't given up anything, because he's supposed to be the great negotiator.
Trump has tried his best, though.
Yeah,
He's tried his best.
8 wars in a span of 9 months.
He's tried his best. So if I said Joe Biden's tried his best, what would you
Not
say?
his war to the end, but
Who started the war? Who started this war?
Kamala Harris.
Okay, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. So I'm not even going to address that stupid statement. He said Ukraine started the war, and he called Vladimir Zelensky a dictator. Will you call that bullshit out right now?
Well,
will you call it out?
Kamala
Yes or
Harris
no?
went to the Munich Security
I'm not
Conference
listening to this
right
guy. He
after
says
the war
Kamala
started.
started the war. You're not a serious person. I don't know. You're 16. Who started the war? You said Russia. I appreciate it. I don't care. He's saying Kamala Harris started the war in Russia. It's the dumbest. Vladimir Putin has murdered people. He's calling Kamala Harris a murderer. He can go fuck himself. Bye-bye, dude. Bye-bye.
And there he goes.
They walked away.
He couldn't handle the smoke. But there's another clip that I want to point out to folks. Oops, hang on.
I'm not always that angry, by the way. I'm not always that angry at people.
Oh no, but I love it though, and so there are people like, oh, you only saying that because you're online. Well, no, because this brother will tell you to your face that is the dumbest thing he's ever heard in his life, and that just fills me with so much joy to hear you say that. So
I did a lot of interviews out there. I must have done like 10 podcasts. I ran into Jack Posobiec. We've had battles on Pierce Morgan, me and Jack, but
oh, really?
It's amazing how nice they were to me. Michael Knowles, I mean, he invited me to one of his cigars. He's a weird dude, by the way. I don't know if you've ever met Michael. Hello, Brian.
I've seen Michael Knowles debating Brian Tyler Cohen quite a few
Brian's
times.
a good dude. Yeah, Michael's a weird guy. I met him in person because I've debated him on Pierce before too, and he invited me to his cigar party, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. Hi, Brian. How are you? Are you enjoying my cigar? Like, he talks like a robot. It's very strange. These are very weird people. I got to tell you, they're not. Cam Higbee, I ran into that right-wing buffoon, and I try to make peace with some people, but these are strange people, man. They're very strange.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. So, Brian, I want to thank you for joining me here on the Defiant Weekly. I feel like we went over, but I feel like there's so much more I wanted to talk to you about. But
We'll do it again.
We can't do the whole wheel there. Did you like the wheel? Did you like this as a concept?
I might steal it from you. Yeah, I do like the wheel.
Please,
I do.
please. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
So I came up with the idea when I had JoJo on the show, and
she's great.
Talking, yeah, we were just talking about how many different topics there were to discuss, and I was like, damn, I should get one of those wheels and and start putting all the different topics to discuss. And go figure, it works because there is so much. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me see.
I just wanted to ask you, you've lived in Brooklyn your whole life?
No, the first half of my life was spent in look at that. It went right back to Nick Shirley. Yeah, let me put it back here. I haven't figured out how to so that for some reason, anytime I spin it, it goes either right back to the category I was on or one right next to it. Let's see. But half of my life, the first half of my life was in Washington Heights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then so my adult life was like from the time I think I was 24 was when I moved to Brooklyn, and that's where I grew up basically. Like I grew into an adult in Washington Heights, but then I did my growing in Brooklyn. If that makes any sense.
My mom is from the Bronx, and I am also from back east. So yep, I miss the East Coast people. I'm in Vegas now.
Yeah, what's Vegas like now? Is it because I remember, I think it was last year, about 6 months ago, I started seeing videos online where people were like, look, it's deserted. Is it like that? Is Vegas deserted or what?
Not on the weekends. On the weekends, it's pretty busy out here. I will say during the week on the Strip, it's not what it once was. The economy is certainly struggling here. And it certainly doesn't help either big corporations charging what they charge for resort fees and parking. And I think people are getting a little bit fed up with it. But so on the weekends, we're fine just because there's so many great events here. And, there's so much to do here. And there's the tourism's still good, but it's nowhere near as good as it was. Coming out of COVID, things were better than they are now. There's no question about it.
Sterling Silver Rose says they hear that Vegas is lacking tourism. Is that accurate?
To an extent, sure. I would say during the week, yes. The numbers are definitely lower, and there are certainly companies in this town that are struggling. That are, casinos that are closing down, and there are a lot of local businesses are struggling here as well.
All right, so I realize that we didn't get anyone. Nobody got to ask you a personal question. So guys, queue up your questions. See if throw them up there because he can see them. So
absolutely, I'll put my glasses back on.
If you have a personal question for Brian, make it a good one, and see if he will answer you. And so just for future reference, if I see anti-Semitic bullshit up there, you will not be spoken to or answered. No.
Why did somebody ask if I was circumcised? Was that the question? I'm just kidding.
I'm not even going to repeat it. You can see on the screen right there.
I'm used to that. I'm used to it. There's obviously a lot of ignorant people sometimes that want to attack somebody because of their religion or what they look like or the color of their skin, and those are people that I usually call Donald Trump supporters. So
yep, indeed.
I'm used to it. What do we got here?
There's one from Tina Bradford. Oh, these are two actually good questions. Let's start off with Tina Bradford here.
Sure.
Wants to know, why do you think Nick is not in the White House press pool?
Are you talking about Nick Shirley? Yeah. Because I don't think that's what Nick wants. I think if he wanted to be in the press pool, he would. But I think he's making more money with his YouTube videos. He's more interested in, selling his sweatshirts and being a grifter. If you're going to be in the White House press pool, I don't think he's going to get enough make more money doing that if that's the case. Now there are some grifters that are in the press pool, like Nick Sorter and Cam Higbee and others. If you kiss Donald Trump's ass enough, he'll give you access. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
Let me do my impersonation of Nick Shirley in the White House press pool. My question for Carolyn is afterwards that if you wanted to President Trump and otherwise you can fraud.
Mr. President, the door was locked in this office. Does that mean you guys are conducting fraud? Are there brown people in there? So stupid. I think somebody asked me, what's my favorite buffet? What's my favorite interview?
Yeah, what was your favorite? Because you actually have interviewed some heavy duty people.
Yeah. I did get a chance to talk to Barack Obama. I only got about 10 minutes with him, but that was when I was a reporter. So I wasn't doing a show. This was when he was running he was running against Hillary. So yeah, I did get a chance to talk to Barack Obama. We talked a lot about basketball. That was fun. I get the opportunity to become friends with people that I've looked up to my whole life. Don Lemon, I love Don. I think he's great. Don's a friend of mine. As far as interviews, some of my favorite interviews, it'd probably be not politicians. It'd probably be some of the celebrities and people that I grew up watching on television that I've now become friends with, people that do my show a lot. And then there's people that I've interviewed like Caroline Leavitt, like not my favorite interviews, but I like getting into it with people that I disagree with. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The whole brainworm thing, he said that on my show. That's how that story got out there.
No.
Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. actually admitted to committing a felony on my show. He admitted to giving his kids fake vaccine cards. And then The View played part of that interview that same day, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so I've done some pretty crazy, wacky interviews. I remember I interviewed Kim Goldman, the sister of the late Ron Goldman, who I believe O.J. Simpson probably allegedly murdered. Yeah. And I remember O.J. Simpson's attorney called into my show in the middle of interviewing her, and that was kind of a crazy interview. That wouldn't be a favorite. That was crazy. But yeah, like I said, I'm giving a long answer here. I apologize, but I've done so many interviews with so many different people.
You knocked me over with the Barack Obama thing right there. That would have been that would always be my top answer.
Well, it's funny because I was a media scrum and I got a chance to talk to him. And the first thing I said to him is, this was like right before the NCAA tournament. I said, Mr. Obama, who's going to win? And he looked at me and he goes, who's going to win the presidency? I'm like, no, who's going to win March Madness? And his eyes lit up because he loves talking about his North Carolina Tar Heels. Yeah. And I love basketball too. So we had that in common. So his eyes lit up and he was so engaging to me, just talking about basketball and how I was a big UConn fan growing up. And he's just a cool guy. He's just a good dude. Yeah. I have so much respect for anybody like that. He's just such a smart guy, but he's just a good human being, and he's got that energy. It's sad because I did talk to Kamala briefly for 5 minutes before when she was running for president in Vegas, and I'll always remember this. I shook her hand and I said, you're Miss Vice President, you're a good woman, and I want you to win. And I looked at her and I said, but you better win. She looked at me, and there's a video of this. I posted it, and she goes, Brian, we are going to win. And I'm like, damn it, I wish that was true. But I was worried back then. I was worried.
What's she like?
She's very friendly. She's very kind, a little quirky. I have a lot of respect for her, very kind-hearted family woman. She just seems very warm.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I think she's more approachable than Hillary Clinton, as much as I think Hillary Clinton was overqualified for the job.
I believe that, yeah.
I do think Kamala's a little bit more, I don't know, I just felt like more approachable. Tim Walz is a good guy. I didn't think it was the right pick, but I have a lot of respect for him. But yeah, I've pretty much met them all. I've been to Donald Trump rallies.
Who do you think she should have picked instead of Tim Walz? Just curious.
I don't think Josh Shapiro wanted it, but I think Josh Shapiro would have been a better pick. Wes Moore would have been a great pick. I like Tim Walz.
I hate to disagree with you, but Wes Moore, I love Wes Moore, but you couldn't have two people of color on that ticket. That would have automatically.
You're probably right
about that. I hate to say this, but America has showed me like America, you let me get my hopes up, right? And you let me dream, you let me believe that 2008 was possible again, and then you went and kicked me in the nuts. You kicked me in the nuts by putting this 34 felony asshole rapist, adjudicated rapist, back into office. God damn it, America.
I'm in the same boat, and I think the Democrats need to figure that out. They're 0-2 against Donald Trump. And I have no problem, and I know you have no problem. We've obviously both voted for Kamala Harris. I have no problem with a woman being the president. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I think it's great if we have another, black or whatever the color of your skin is become president. But I think we need a man to run against J.D. Vance, and it pains me to say that. I wish Michelle Obama put her name in the ring, but she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it, exactly. Yeah. I think it's going to be, if the elections were tomorrow, it would be Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance. I have my issues with Gavin Newsom. I'll vote for him in a heartbeat over anybody on the other side. Yeah. I think you have to pick somebody like AOC or Jasmine Crockett as your VP. Kamala, again, the Tim Walz debate with J.D. Vance was a disaster. Okay, Tim Walz did not do a good job in that debate. Kamala did a good job. I don't think.
She did
from
well. The moment she crossed the floor and shook his hand, and he was going to try to not shake her hand. That was, in my opinion, it was over from that point on.
She destroyed him. I just was very disappointed in Tim Walz. I just think you needed to be a little bit more aggressive with J.D. Vance. That's the one thing I'll say about Gavin Newsom, though. I'm not worried about him when it comes to any debate. He's a very good public speaker. And again, a lot can change from now until then, right? But right now, Gavin Newsom has to. The clowning of Trump, I think it's very funny. The Twitter, the social, but it's time now to get serious and talk a little bit more about policy, and it's time. And we got the midterms right around the corner. But what was the original? The original question was, what was my favorite interview? It's got to be Barack Obama. I got to put him up there.
All right, and I'm going to wrap this, and thank you so much. I apologize for us going so far over.
No, you're good. I love what you do, and I've been following you on social media forever, and I love your tweets. I love what you do, and I'm happy to do your show anytime. And you got to just keep up the great work, because you have a lot of followers out there, and what you say absolutely matters. With your platform.
Let me just. I want to wrap this with one more question just for you, right?
Absolutely, sure.
What do Democrats have to do between now and the midterms and now and 2028 in order to be successful, in your opinion?
Well, you have to make better choices with candidates. That's number one. Number two, you have to show people the images of what this Trump America looks like. Sadly, some of them are graphic images. But Renee Good is still alive today if Donald Trump doesn't get reelected. Alex is still alive today. You have to show the images of these innocent protesters being pepper sprayed. And you have to talk to the farmers and talk to some of these Republicans. Play that gun comment that Donald Trump said yesterday over and over again. Look at all show regular everyday people, Americans that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, while the billionaires, you have to hit that home with the real kitchen table issues that Americans care about, and how Donald Trump has failed the American people, and play that over and over again. And then policy, a clear stance on policy of how, what are you doing as a Democrat that's different than what the Trump administration has already done and the damage that they've done to the country. And stop being so damn nice I have so much respect for Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
But when they go low, we go high doesn't work anymore. And I know what she was trying to say. And I'm not saying be a Brian Shapiro and call people names. Okay. No, I match people. I'm a radio host. Okay. But at the same time, you have to call out Donald Trump for who he is. You have to call out his base. And if you're running against JD Vance, play it over and over again. You said that this guy was the next Hitler. Okay. You lied about the cats and the dogs. You made this stuff up. You got to hit that home. You got to be more aggressive. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So be more aggressive. Lay out the damage that Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans have done to this country, and talk about the future and what you are going to do differently. And for God's sakes, do more podcasts. Talk to younger people. That's where Donald Trump won, with the younger audience. You got to talk to younger people. I love Bernie Sanders. Okay. He's great, but we need younger leaders. Okay. I like Bernie. Okay. Chuck Schumer's got to go. He's got to go. You got to get younger people, younger leaders in there that appeal. And AOC has that appeal. Jasmine Crockett does. Eric Swalwell. We need younger people. You have talent. You've got to give these people a bigger platform. And the Chuck Schumers of the world, thank you for your service. It's time to go. We need younger leadership.
So well said. Because so Chuck Schumer was my senator for years, and he was good, like pre-Trump. Post-Trump, he's not built for this battlefield. He's just not built for it. He's built for when government was still functioning. He's built for when there was honor in the chambers, and people could disagree and still compromise. That those days are gone. And the sternly worded letters, dude, come on. You've let us know that your time has passed with those sternly worded letters. That's done. I don't want to hear another Democratic politician say the words sternly worded letter ever again. That shit is so played.
I agree.
We have somebody, Valerie G is saying, what do you think of Governor Pritzker? Personally, in my opinion, I kind of like him. I think he's got that Chicago tough guy. I think he's a dark horse in the race here, because I agree with you on Governor Newsom. I like him, but I don't 100% like him. Governor Pritzker, I also like. I don't know enough about him, but I do like that he has that grit to him. He's not afraid to stand up, and he actually does seem a little bit more on the serious side of things. Like he's not the jokey. He doesn't have the jokey thing that Governor Newsom has, and I don't think he has that same baggage with some of those areas that Governor Newsom has.
So I like Pritzker. But I can name you a few other names that I like a little bit more than Pritzker, but I do like him. I think this kid Tallarico out there in Texas is a rising star.
James Tallarico, yeah.
And he did my show 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember at the time I had a right-wing buffoon as my co-host. Luckily, I don't have to work with him anymore. But I said on the show, I said, this kid is going to be a star. He could be a president one day, and I was laughed at. Well, look at the press he's getting now. I don't know if he's ready yet, but boy, he appeals to that religious group, to a religious group of people that maybe would vote for somebody like him. I mentioned Wes Moore. I love Josh Shapiro, not because we have the same last name, but I really like Josh Shapiro. I think he's really good. And Gavin Newsom has his issues, but he's a good public speaker. He's a good debater. I just think that this go around, you can't make any more mistakes. We got to struggle through another 3 years of Trump, at least take over the House and the Senate. And there's a lot of people that say Republicans are still going to, control the Senate. I hope not. But Pritzker, he's got a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. He's actually what you would call a successful businessman, unlike Donald Trump, who's a fake businessman. Right. I like him, but I'm going to not choose the person that I like the most. I'm going to choose the person that has the best chance to win. And right now, if the elections were tomorrow, it's still Gavin Newsom, in my opinion.
You think that's because Gavin Newsom has better better name recognition, or
Part of
overall
it.
does he have more how do they say Riz? Is that the
Yeah,
am I using that
he's
correctly, young folks?
he's got the presidential look. I think just as important to that is he's willing to debate the other side. He goes on Fox News once in a while. I did criticize him. I didn't like the interviews on his podcast he did with Steve Bannon and the late Charlie Kirk. I thought it
Also
was
Ben Shapiro too. I don't know if you saw that one.
yeah, there wasn't enough pushback, and I didn't
Yeah.
like that. I need to see more pushback from him, and then we see what they're doing on social media, which is quite funny and clowning Trump. I want to see somewhere in the middle. I want to see a Gavin Newsom somewhere in the middle of that. And listen, he's going to have to answer to California. California is not perfect by any stretch. He's going to have to answer to that. But I would be very comfortable seeing Gavin Newsom debate a JD Vance. I think he would do fine there. But you know, we got a long time from now to then.
That's
But
true.
like I said, there's a lot of young, extremely intelligent leaders within the Democrat base. We need to get rid of the old, for lack of a better term, bring in the new. And I think the Democrats have to take advantage, sadly, of so many in this country right now. The reason why Donald Trump has such low approval numbers. You know, most Americans don't like. You know, they didn't vote for this. Even those who voted for Trump, they didn't vote for this. Most of them admit they didn't vote for what's going on in Minneapolis right now, innocent people being murdered in the streets. They didn't vote for the biggest tax breaks for the top 1%, losing their health care and their friends being, you know, families being ripped apart. So I think a lot of people are even staunch Trump supporters are like, yeah, I didn't really vote for this.
Yeah.
You know,
Brian, I want to say this in closing. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on the
Sure, of
Defiant
course.
Weekly. I am optimistic, looking forward to the midterms this year in a way that I have been before, but I'm even more so this year. I'm encouraged that we have talented and smart people like you really starting to expand into this independent journalist space, because your voices like yours are needed more now than ever before, because time and time again, traditional media outlets have failed us. As I mentioned early on in my intro about how you have this reporter interviewing this politician, and that politician isn't built for, you know, getting the answers, getting to the truth, to the nitty gritty. They're not built that way. And it's time for more people to start turning towards independent journalists like yourself, who are unfiltered and who are not owned by anybody. You can say what the hell you want to say and give it to the public the way they need to hear it. And so I'm grateful to you, and I'm grateful to our audience for spending this time with us on the Defiant Weekly. Thank you so much, Brian.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. And just if I could tell your listeners real quickly, my YouTube page is at PTL Radio Show. So if anybody wants to subscribe to my YouTube page, at PTL Radio Show, and the Pushing the Limits Facebook fan page. I'm also on X, where I torture MAGA all day long. It's fun. Matt Walsh was actually hate tweeting at me the other day. I just get people going on social media, and I just don't take any shit. So I have fun with it.
Is it at PTL Radio
Yep.
Show?
So on X, I'm the Brian Shapiro on X. But you got that right. PTL Radio Show on YouTube. That's what I am at on YouTube. And Facebook, it's just the Pushing the Limits Facebook page. But yeah, at PTL Radio Show on YouTube. And we'll love to get you back on. Maybe you can come on my show next week. That'd be fun.
I'd love to. And it's
Great.
At the Brian Shapiro.
On X, that's X, yeah. The Brian Shapiro. You know, it's funny. I used to be at PTL Radio Show on X, and everyone's like, "Dude, you got to put your name on there. It's got to be your name." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I switched it up a little bit, and that's really all I do on X. I just clown MAGA all day long, and and it's funny. It's fun. I just get them going. I had Michael Flynn going at me yesterday. General Flynn, who I called I called him
on the show? He
said, yes, no. So he tweeted at me and he said I shouldn't be credentialed to AmFest again. And I said, you're a scumbag felon who still thinks the vaccines are in salad dressing. So, I don't think anybody takes anything you say with credibility. And then his son started to tweet at me. So, I said Matt Walsh, because Matt Walsh always brags about how successful he is and how much money he makes, because, he's just a bigot. And I said, Matt, your definition of success would be if you were on a sidewalk holding up a sign with the N word, and then somebody paid you $5,000 a day to do that, you would call that successful. I said, that's what you do, only you do it in front of a camera. So he didn't like that very much. But it's true. It's true. These people are just the worst, but I just have fun with it. I just have fun going after these bad people. That's all.
Well, folks, there it is. We have at PTL Radio Show. You can find Brian Shapiro, and you can also find him on Twitter at the Brian Shapiro, and on YouTube as what do they type in on YouTube? Just Brian Shapiro?
It should be at PTL Radio Show.
Oh, okay. So the same thing. All right.
Yeah. But the show's called Pushing the Limits. So if you type in Pushing the Limits, you'll find it. Yeah.
I think I typed that in to find those clips earlier. So
cool.
Brian, hang tight for a minute while I sign off here, and I'll see you on the other side.
You got it.
And folks, thank you for joining me for another fun episode of the Defiant Weekly. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad Defiant. And I look forward to seeing you guys here next week. Same time, same place. I love you all. Peace. Incredible person, incredible human being. Yes, famous. Yes.